Hey y'all, what's going on? Hope y'all are doing well. I just wanted to come and make a tutorial video for all of my customers who have purchased basically any of our face makeup products. So Skin Twin Foundation, Dew Skin Tinted Moisturizer, or the Skin Twin Creamy Concealer. So I just wanted to run through the steps, how I use them, the tools that I use, and like how I prep my skin and all of that stuff. So first and foremost, during the day, the moisturizer that I typically use is the Counter Control Matte Effect Gel Cream. So this is technically for oily slash acne prone skin, and I typically am a little bit more oily during the day on my forehead, on my chin, and so I do use this. Sometimes I add a facial oil depending on if I have a little dryness, but this moisturizer gives me a really great matte finish, and it works pretty similar to a primer. So I don't have to use a primer. I just use this moisturizer, and I really like the way that it works. So there's that. I do also use something that is not a Beautycounter product, and it is contour to contour my cheekbones. I really like whatever that's called, sharp jawline. So I use these products. They used to be called mascara. They've rebranded and changed their name to Saint, but basically it's just a cream contour. And y'all, this little tin has lasted me for like a year and a half. Like I haven't had to rebuy it. So like you use so little. And then I have this really cool brush, and basically I dip the edge of it into this and just give myself a nice little contour line. So if y'all are interested and y'all enjoy contouring, this is a really easy product to use, and because it's cream, you can pretty much, it doesn't matter if you put it on too dark, you can always blend it. So if y'all have any interest in this, let me know. I can get you hooked up with my mascara slash Saint Gal. This brush is also really awesome. But yeah, so on to the next step. A lot of people don't realize this, but you typically should apply your face makeup before you apply concealer. If you start with your concealer and then you go and apply face makeup afterwards, not only are you putting like a second layer of makeup on your face, which can sometimes feel cakey or look cakey, but you're also going to wipe off or cover up a lot of that concealing that you have done. You want your under eye to be brighter than the rest of your face. So you put the concealer on afterwards, and yeah, it works really well. So I apply these two things the same way. So I'm going to use Skin Twin today just because I am going out to lunch. We're going to go to this really cute little Instagram pop-up booth place. And so I figure why not put on a full face of makeup. So whether I'm doing Dew Skin or Skin Twin, I always will use some kind of blender. This is the Beauty Blender from Beautycounter, but you can get them on Amazon. You can get them at Target. Ours is about 20 bucks. Unless you're a new customer, I can get 20% off. So they are pricey, but they are really great. So I would recommend this kind of tool to apply your makeup. And I get it damp, so it's typically like half of this size, and once you get it damp, it like puffs up big time. So the idea of getting it damp and wringing all the water out is that your makeup is not going to absorb into the sponge because it's already got water in it. So and it gives you a really nice dewy finish. So like I said, either way, I'm going to apply these the same. I'm basically just going to give myself 2 pumps on the back of my hand of the Skin Twin. I use the Skin Twin in medium 310, I think. Yeah, medium 310. I could probably go 1 shade lighter, but I started using this in the summertime, so I was a little bit darker, and I just never tried a lighter shade. So it doesn't look bad by any means, and it's so light and buildable that I think it still works really well. You have a little bit of, what's that called? Play with your shade color. Okay, so I am basically going to start on my forehead. I do go around my eyes just a little bit, but not with a lot of product. I like to just kind of put residual product under and around my eyes since I am going to use concealer, but it's kind of a nice base. Like I said, start all over the forehead. What I love about this Skin Twin is it does actually have like some skincare properties in it. So it has hyaluronic acid, which is naturally derived, and then it also has, what else does it have in it? Vitamin C, I believe. I can't remember, but basically the two things are going to act as like skincare agents as well and give you skincare benefits. So the hyaluronic acid is going to help to plump your lines, and so rather than like sinking into the lines, it's going to hopefully help to smooth them out. So as you can tell, I am not putting makeup where I put the contour just because I don't want to cover it up, and I really like to have as natural of a look as possible. I don't want to put a ton of foundation on. I never want to feel cakey. It is really hard to feel cakey with this foundation because it is so light. That's why it's called Skin Twin. And it does have pretty light coverage. So if you need a little bit extra coverage, then what I would recommend is basically getting you a nice application on, letting it set for like 5 minutes or so. So maybe you go make a cup of coffee or brush your teeth or pick out your clothes or whatever you're gonna do. Let it soak in. It probably doesn't even need 5 minutes. I just don't ever do a second layer. And then go in with a second layer. So it's pretty simple to get extra coverage where you need it. But what I always like to say is, if your skin looks awesome, then you don't really need much coverage. And that's super true. So get your skincare game up and your makeup game will follow. Okay, I am going to go on my neck just because I have extra and I don't want to waste it. So maybe one pump would have been good because I just feel like I put a lot of product on and I probably didn't need that much. So start with one pump. I'm going to use the other side of my sponge to basically blend out the contour. So see how smooth that got? Bam. Look at that jawline, or not jawline, cheekbones. Okay, so next up is our Skin Twin Creamy Concealer. So I use this in light 2, I believe. I like an extra bright under eye, so why not? So it has this really awesome little, it's called a doe foot applicator, but it's perfect for getting right under the eye. You can obviously use as much as you like. If you just like a little concealer, that's totally fine. I'm a little bit of a concealer addict. And then I put it on the top of my eye as well because I have super thin eyelids. And I don't know if you can see, but I have like veiny eyelids. And so I do put concealer there just to cover that up a little bit. And then I have redness under my nose. So I always do a little bit right there. And then if you want to go crazy and give yourself a little bit, basically the other place that you should have brightness is right here at the peak of your like brow bone. So you can give yourself a little highlight there as well. Some people go all over the nose. I do sometimes, but honestly with the masks and stuff, I feel like that's the first place that my makeup starts to rub off from. So why put extra there? So I like to let this sit for just a second. So I'll blend in this and this. So pretty simple. And I do kind of take it down like the top bridge of my nose just to give that all a highlight. Bam. Okay, and then I'm going to use the other end of my mascara / Saint brush that I use to contour. And I'm going to get the top part of my eye with this. So I don't like to use the sponge on the top part of my eye just because I feel like when I close my eye and then use the sponge that like I feel like my lash line almost takes the bottom concealer off, or it gets a ton of product onto my lash line, and then I feel like I have to put so much mascara on to like cover it up. So I like to use the brush for that. And then last but not least, under eye. You can use either side of this. I typically use the flat side just because I don't really have like a deep, like my eyes are not deep set, but if you have deep set or potentially maybe a little bit more sunken in eyes, use the rounded part and that should help you to really get in that natural curve of your eye. So I'm actually going to try it that way because why not? I never do it that way. So here we go. And you're just lightly patting it. You definitely don't want to rub. You'd never want to do any like rubbing or pulling action under your eye. I'm switching this. I like the flatter end better. You never want to do that just because anytime you pull on your eye, that skin is so delicate that you are going to potentially do damage and stretch it out and like have sagging constantly. Okay, y'all, look at how bright this under eye is. Do y'all see that? It looks pretty awesome. So then I'm going to finish with this eye. I love this concealer, and if you love the skin or the Dew Skin but don't feel like it gives you enough coverage, the Dew Skin Tinted Moisturizer with the Skin Twin Concealer in all the places that I just showed you is freaking phenomenal. That's what I wear 90% of the time, is just the Dew Skin with the concealer. I feel like the Dew Skin gives me like, it doesn't really give me coverage, but it evens out any redness that I have. And then putting the concealer on gives me like the brightness and the coverage under my eyes that I want. So I like it. Okay, y'all, so that is all that I'm going to put on. I'm going to show y'all how I now set this. So we have a setting mist that you could use. I have never used that, and I tend to be a little bit more oily during the day, so I feel like a mist might work against me, so I am not doing that. I use our mattifying powder. So this is pretty simple. It's just like I shake it, get it on the top of the lid, You want a good amount of product on there. And then I'm going to use my blender again. And basically what I'm going to do is this is called baking. The method is called baking. Funny enough. But I'm going to use the blender, dip it in the mattifying powder. And then I'm going to go under my eyes, basically anywhere I applied concealer. So under my eyes, right here on the T-zone area of my forehead, and under my nose to kind of set that and make sure that my concealer doesn't like settle in my creases is basically what that's going to do. So going to do that really quick. So take the same thing of the blender, get a whole bunch of mattifying powder on there, and just bam. So you're obviously you're going to knock off most of this product, but you do want to let it sit under your eye for just a second. And I'll show you what I typically do to, like while I'm waiting for it to sit. Okay, so I've got all that on, and then you can put mattifying powder on your top lid, but typically I'm using like some sort of matte eyeshadow, even if it's just like one color. So I don't usually use that. I usually just use a matte eyeshadow. So I'm going to use this pink right here. I love the way that the pink looks on my top eyelid. So I'm just going to use a fluffy shadow brush and put that. Oh, I have a little bit of the darker color, the shadow. I used this last night, so I have a little bit of the darker color still on my brush. So it's a little darker than usual. Usually it's a very, very subtle pink, like almost just like skin tone with like a little rosiness. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit more. All right, y'all, and then I have a big fluffy face brush that I don't really ever use for anything but to knock off my setting powder. So all I'm gonna do is give it a little swipe. Okay, and I am done. So the under eye is super bright, but to me, I love that look. I love the way that it looks. It makes me look so awake, and it gives you a very flawless canvas to then do your mascara, your brows, whatever you wanna do. So that is how I use our face products. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you got a little bit of information and like something you didn't know, or maybe you just figured out how to apply it. So I definitely think the mattifying powder and some sort of blender sponge is like the game changer for application. So if you have questions on these, or if you want to try to find a cleaner alternative that isn't maybe Beauty Counter, or maybe is a little bit more affordable, let me know and I will try to help you find something. But these products are pretty awesome when you're doing your face. So thank you all so much for being customers. It is always, of course, so appreciated. And hopefully this helps. All right, talk to y'all soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.